Hey guys, what's going on? This is Nate here. I know it's been a long time since I made a video for you guys. I've been really busy lately with schoolwork and track and field, but now that those things are pretty much wrapping up, I'll have a lot more time to make videos for you guys. And I'm really excited to start making videos again because we've got Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference taking place next week, and Apple is going to be giving a keynote address on Monday where they're expected to announce some exciting things. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you an overview of what I think we're going to be seeing at the keynote address on Monday, and this is based on a lot of the rumors and reports that are circulating online right now. So at WWDC, we're going to be seeing, or the keynote address is going to be centered around three main objectives. The first one is iOS 6, the second is Mountain Lion, and the third is new Macintosh hardware. So with iOS 6, right now there are two main features I feel pretty confident on that we're going to be seeing. The first is Apple's new in-house mapping technology. So Apple is going to be removing the Google Map services that are currently being used in the Map application, and they're going to be using their new in-house technology. And this new technology is going to allow you to have a 3D view of maps, so you'll really get a nice immersive experience of what things actually look like. And so it's kind of like Google Earth, but it should be actually a lot better than that. And this is going to be based around some of these 3D mapping technologies, different companies that Apple has acquired in the past couple of years, and I think Apple has found a way to incorporate those different technologies that these companies had to make one really great mapping experience that's going to be built right into iOS itself. Now, just on a side note, Google did host a presentation this week to talk about their new 3D mapping technology. It's really in the beginning stages right now, but it'll be interesting to see what Apple has compared to what Google announced this week. But nonetheless, even though Google is being phased out of the default Maps application, you'll still be able to download their application through the App Store in iOS if you prefer it to whatever Apple announces next week. The next feature I'm pretty confident on is Facebook integration. So just as we saw in iOS 5 with Twitter integration, they're now going to be implementing Facebook. So you'll be able to sign in with your account, and you'll be easily able to share photos, web pages, and anything else that you want to share right in the operating system itself. So that'll be nice to see. Another feature I think we're going to see is Siri being brought over to the iPad, and instead of being a full screen experience, reports are saying it's just going to be sort of an iPhone sized screen that appears on the iPad itself, so that'll be nice to see. Now, there are a couple other features that we've been hearing about, some that relate to Mountain Lion itself. So one of these is called iCloud Tabs, and what this allows you to do, let's say you're on your iPad, you've got some web pages open, and you switch over to your Mac or your iPhone. You can click the iCloud Tabs button, and it's going to bring up the web pages that you had open on your iPad. So that's a pretty cool feature. Another one that we might see is a Do Not Disturb button. In Mountain Lion, the Do Not Disturb button will allow you to disable notifications quickly and easily. So if you don't want notifications annoying you when you're using your computer, you can switch that on and you won't be bothered with them. Supposedly Apple's going to be bringing that over to iOS as well, so it will be located right below the airport toggle off and toggle on switch. And so that pretty much wraps it up with iOS 6, what I feel confident on. However, there could be some other changes that Apple implements, and I definitely think there'll be some new features that we're not expecting. They may redo some of the applications I've been hearing, so maybe they might update like the camera app or the stock app and give it a complete overhaul. So I'm hoping we'll see some new features. In terms of a new look, I really don't expect that. Apple may update the color from a blue to a more modern looking silver color we've been hearing about, but I don't expect Apple to actually overhaul how the operating system looks itself. Next up, I'll talk about Mountain Lion. So Mountain Lion has been out for developers for quite a while now, but Apple has yet to actually formally introduce this operating system at a keynote address. So they will probably be spending some time talking about this and the new features. For Mountain Lion, as I've did in an overview discussed in an overview video, is basically bringing a lot more iOS features over to the Mac. So if you want to hear more about that, be sure to watch my Mountain Lion overview video. But Apple should go over those features, and maybe they'll have a few surprises with Mountain Lion that we'll see. And we should also be hearing when they're going to actually release this operating system to the public. It'll probably be sometime this summer through the Mac App Store, just as Mountain Lion was, and they'll probably talk about when they're going to be issuing a Goldmaster version of that as well. And then the last thing that we should see at WWDC is new Macintosh hardware. So we've been hearing a lot of rumors about what may be coming with these new Macs, redesigns, and stuff like that. Now, in terms of the chipset that the new refresh Mac should have, it should be Ivy Bridge across the board, with the exception of the Mac Pro. We should also see USB 3 implemented on all the new Macs that Apple decides to refresh, and they should also support the new 1600 RAM speed as well. That is previously it was 1333. Now it should be upgraded to 1600. So those are the three changes that I think that we should see across the board with any Mac that Apple decides to refresh here at the Worldwide Developer Conference. Now, in terms of the MacBook Air, I think that Apple is just going to refresh it with the Ivy Bridge, the USB 3.0, the new RAM speed. In terms of redesign, probably nothing with the MacBook Air. It should probably stay with the same design it has. I'm hoping to see a HD front-facing FaceTime camera on there, and I hope to also see Retina displays. We saw a Retina display with the iPad, which currently has a 9-inch display. So I would assume that Apple could bring that over to the Mac as well, the MacBook Air, because it's 11 and 13-inch screen sizes, which isn't that much bigger, and also the MacBook Air is held further away than an iPad would be, so the pixel density would be less than what would be required than what would be required for, let's say, an iPad to make it a Retina display. So I think that's definitely plausible for Apple to do with the MacBook Air. Now, with the MacBook Pro, we're hearing some different things. I definitely think that they are going to be keeping the 13-inch MacBook Pro around. I don't think they're going to discontinue it, but we're hearing that Apple may be adding a new 15-inch model. So there's still going to be the existing 13 and 15-inch models that are going to be receiving the same spec upgrade with the Ivy Bridge, USB 3, and the faster RAM speed. But then Apple may also implement a completely new redesigned MacBook Pro, which may have a thinner tapered design like the MacBook Air, but not quite as thin, and it may also implement a Retina display, but it would be much more expensive. The next thing that we're going to talk about then is the Mac Pro. There had been some uncertainty of whether or not Apple was going to refresh it, but as of now, a lot of reports are coming in saying they will finally refresh it. So this is great for professional users who really need the power of a Mac Pro to get their different tasks done daily. And so they're supposedly going to remain at the same price points that they are now. They should finally receive Thunderbolt support and maybe the ability to have 8-core CPUs there on the inside of the the Mac Pro itself. Now the iMacs, it's a bit questionable about whether or not these are going to be refreshed at WWDC. I think a refresh is coming for them, but according to 9to5Mac, here's what's going to happen. There either is going to be that new 15-inch MacBook Pro with the Retina display announced, or it's going to be the iMac. So it's either going to be one or the other according to 9to5Mac. It could be both, you never know, but it'll be interesting to see what'll happen. I don't know if Retina is quite ready for the big display of an iMac, so maybe that's why they're not going to talk about it at the conference, because it would just be a spec upgrade. I'm not really sure, but we'll have to wait and see. So I'm really excited for Monday. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are most excited for. Please like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.